I appreciate it very much. I guess first off, since we do have a small group, we can unmute ourselves if you have any questions as we go throughout the webinar today. Don't hesitate to ask those. I want the session to be valuable for everybody. So I guess, Kelly, first we'll start with you. What's your expertise level on Book Creator?
I've used it twice, so I'm not much of an expert.
Nothing. Cool. All right. No, maybe not nothing, but all right. Excellent.
I just started last week, so.
Okay, very good. Carly, how about you?
Hi, yes. I've used it here and there with another teacher, so to do it by myself, I haven't really done a whole lot.
Okay, awesome. And Shannon, how about you?
I used it pretty consistently with the group I had last year, kind of like throughout the entire year.
Okay, excellent. So the goal kind of today was to go through all of the bits and pieces of Book Creator and talk about how we can use those in the classroom. And Kelly, I can look at it through a social studies lens and science lens from Shannon. And Carly, what do you teach?
I'm a special ed teacher.
Okay, all right. So we got 3 different groups. That's awesome. So does that sound like a good plan? And then Shannon, since you used it fairly consistently, I can throw in like little gold nuggets that'll just like make you super excited, little power user tips and tricks as we go through the thing here today. So let me go ahead and present, and I will share. I always use Zoom, so you got to bear with me for 1 second as I get used to Google Hangouts. Can you see my book? Almost.
Yep. Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, well, first off, who is this weird guy that is doing this webinar with us today? My name is Jon Smith. I am the iPod teacher on Twitter, so if you're on Twitter, you want to give me a shout out, that's awesome. If not, no worries. I'm also jonsmith@bookcreator.com, so you can reach out to me through Twitter, email, either way is fine. Let's see what else. NiceGate's going on this week. Richard, did I see a tweet or something that you presented this week at NiceGate?
Yeah, we do an app Smackdown every year where it's a friendly, not so friendly sharing of resources.
That's it. I knew it was something I couldn't remember. You said App Smash now, or yeah, I remember. App Smackdown. That's awesome. Cool. Hopefully that went well. And how's the NiceGate conference going? This whole virtual thing's a little bit different.
Only went to just did the one this year because it was virtual. So I didn't. More so like if it's virtual, I can get most of the stuff from friends, unfortunately. So I just went with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Shannon, you can't see the book.
Yeah, like it shows me that like at the top it says that you're presenting, but I still just see everyone's faces. I don't actually see what you're presenting.
Is there a little tiny one where you can see his book that you can pin to your screen?
I don't see his book at all. I just see his icon and just his name saying is presenting.
What kind of, do you have you don't have grid view on, do you? You don't have the option for that?
I do have grid view, but when I turn it on and off, I still just see people.
All right, what if you hit the, see that little thing where it says people 6?
Yep.
Hit that, and then go down to see where it says Jon Smith presentation. On his 3 dots, click pin.
All right, thanks.
All right, excellent. Now, if it was a Zoom question, I'd be all over that one, but all right, excellent. Let's see what else. I taught special ed for 12 years. I was a technology integration specialist after that for 7 years, and now I am the teacher success manager here at Book Creator. So lots of webinars, training, sales support, inspiration conferences, all that good stuff whenever we can. And let's see what else. I'm married. I've got 3 kids, 10, 6, and 3. Love golf, and I love clean cars. So if you have a dirty car and you want to come over here to Ohio, then I'd be more than happy to detail that ride for you. If it's not dirty now, it will be by the time you get here. I promise. Just looking out the window right now, it's probably going to rain on us. So anyway, that's a little bit about me. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And again, basically today's agenda, I just want to take that kind of a deep dive into all of Book Creator's features and ways that you can use those in your classrooms. So first off, do all of you have accounts set up? I just want to make sure you know where to go. You've been in there before. Carly, you said you kind of worked with somebody else, but do you have your own account?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay.
John, we've got about 20 licenses for our school because we wanted to focus it with the middle school teachers first. And so I wanted to basically figure out where to push out those 20 licenses to. So this is like having people here was a first start to make sure they had the license.
Okay, excellent. So first things first, if you go to this website right here, app.bookcreator.com, this is where you can sign in for an account. And at first, it's going to be a free account, and then, like Richard said, we can upgrade you. Richard can upgrade you to the full version of this. But when you get to this site, there is a teacher sign-in side. So you actually want to make sure you click on teacher, and then you're going to sign in. Because if you sign in as a student, it's not going to work the way we want it to work, and just has to be some finagling on the side. But if you click on teacher and then sign in with your options here, I think you guys are all Google, so you're going to sign in with your Google account, and you'll start off with that free version. And then again, Carly, if you want the full version, when Richard adds your name to the dashboard, you'll get that full account. I'm going to ask you a couple questions. What do you teach? What grade levels? Things like that. And then after that, you're going to create your very first library. And when you do that, it's going to look kind of like what you see on the screen here, except it won't have any books. It'll just be an empty library. And we'll come back to that here in a second. But at the top left, there are these 3 lines. And if you click on these 3 lines, this will take you to your teacher dashboard. And so I really want to spend a couple minutes talking about the teacher dashboard, because I think this is a really great place to try things out. The teacher dashboard, this library right here with the lock on it probably accounts for 37% of all support tickets. This library that has a lock on it is just for you. It's not for anybody else. It's just meant for you to try things out, play around, use it as a rough draft kind of area. And then all of these other libraries that you can create are for you, and they are for your students. So with the account that your school has purchased, you will each get 1,000 books, unlimited libraries. So you can make a library for every kid, you can make a library for every class, small groups, projects, anything that you really want. Now, as a special ed teacher, I've even seen that some teachers start using it as that digital portfolio for all of their IEP goals. So every kid has their own folder, and they're completing work inside that folder or inside that library so that they can then have that data they need for those IEP. So just something to think about. The next tab that I want to bring your attention to is this Discover tab. And this Discover tab is really awesome because it has a lot of great examples of ways to use Book Creator in your classroom. Now we've got Thanksgiving coming up, so we just created this brand new Thanksgiving activity book, which is really, really awesome. In this book, it's just a quick like activity guide, things like that students can use. So you're just going to click in that book, and then right here, there's a little button that says add this book to your library. And what it's going to do is it's going to make a copy of this book in your library that you can then remix and change if you want to. So we've got lots of cool stickers, a lot of cool activities, photos, quizzes, text, anything like that that your kids can put in there just to have a little bit of fun with this Thanksgiving book. So that's the activity book. The next thing in this Discover tab, we do have some more activity books in there. There's a big Book Creator activity book. We do have a new book here about creating journals. But what I really want you to take a look at here are the grade levels. Now, I can't remember. I'm sorry, Shannon and Kelly and Carly, what grade levels did you all say you teach?
I'm in 6th grade.
6?
7th.
7?
7.
Okay. So in this example by grade level book, this is where you're going to want to click middle school. And you're going to see a lot of really awesome books written by students and teachers, all at the middle school level. So definitely check those out. We do have more books by our ambassadors here, ranging topics from differentiated learning to formative assessment. But I think for all of you, we've got social studies and science projects. And again, we had that differentiated instruction book, Carly. So a lot of really great content here that you can get ideas from. So check those out. And then also, we have books by subject. So for science, click on science, and it will open up a library filled with books, again, written by students and teachers on various aspects of science. So I definitely want you to check those out. Even if it's not quite what you're teaching, they're really good for ideas, design ideas, things like that. So definitely want you to look at those. And then we also have this Learn tab here. So in the Learn tab, there is a course that you can take. And if you click on this blue button here, it will take you to this new tab that says Certification. And then you will get 14 videos ranging from about 1.5 minutes to 8 minutes at most, followed by a quiz. And if you watch all the videos, pass the quiz, then you get a cool certification badge that you can put in your email, send out to through social media, wherever you need to send it. But more importantly than the cool badge that every teacher wants is the fact that you're just going to get that deep dive into Book Creator. And I'm always throwing out challenges. So if your district is up for it, I'm always trying to find that first district that's going to have 100% of their teachers complete the certification. So even if you're on the free version, you can still complete the certification program. So definitely want you to check that out, because again, you're going to walk away with lots of really cool ideas for using Book Creator in your classroom. All right, let's go back to our library here. So for those of you that haven't done this a whole lot, first thing you want to do is you want to get students to join your library. So in order to join your library,
where do you see that?
you're going to click this blue button right here. And this blue button is going to give you a code. And I'll put this code into the chat window. We'll find it.
Okay, so is that who's signed in? Is that who is signed in to do the action? Is it the Scoutman or is it one of
I'm going to mute every.
where did this app
I can get everybody to mute for just a second. A little bit of background noise, and make sure that we can all hear what's going on here. All right, but in there, once you have that code, you're going to invite your students. And every library has its own unique code. All right, so every time you create a library, get a new code, invite those students to your library. So basically, when you go to app.bookcreator.com, your students on the left-hand side will click student, sign in with Google, and then it's going to immediately ask them for a code. And that code, again, is what's going to get them into your library. We don't have traditional accounts for students in the way you might think. Now, once students have joined your library, there's really 3 things that they can do. They can view any of these books down here at the bottom, just by clicking on the arrows and clicking inside and viewing the books. They can also create their own books inside your library. So if they click this new book button, they can choose different book styles. Now, my personal choice is I always choose the bottom row of books, and the reason I do that is because even if I don't want to make a comic book, I can still have comic options like stickers, comic panels, special comic text. But if you choose this top row of books, you're not going to have those options. All right, so again, that's another support ticket thing that we get a lot of. And then the third thing that you can do is you can actually collaborate on a book. So if you want your students to work on the same book at the same time, very similar to like a Google style collaboration, you can do that here. So underneath a book, click the share button and click this button that says collaborate. And when you do that, the first choice will allow everyone in that library to collaborate on that book. Sometimes that scares teachers a little bit because they don't want all of the hands in the cookie pot at the same time. And right now we don't have a revision history, so again that kind of makes it a little bit scary for teachers because they're like, well, what if Jon goes in there and deletes somebody's work? What do I do? So if that scares you, then another option will pop up here at the bottom when students join your library, and it will say change. And so if you click on this button that says change, you can actually choose which students collaborate on that book together with you. So maybe I choose a couple students or 3 students to work on that book because they know that they're going to be okay together. Totally up to you. All right, but you just hit start collaboration, and then a new icon will appear at the top, and now the students that are in this library have the option to collaborate on this book together. Now, for teachers, I did put that into the chat window, that code. So for teachers, you're going to click on the 3 black lines, scroll all the way to the bottom, and then there's a button that says join a library. So you're going to click on that button, enter that code, click join library again, and then you will be part of my library, and you'll be able to play around in this playground book. So if you're capable of multitasking and you want to go ahead and do that, awesome. If not, don't worry, you can just watch. But that library, this book is open for collaboration. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in this book. And now that I'm in here, and if you want to join me, you can jump inside this book as well. Just find a blank page and you can start working on that. So I'm just going to go here a couple pages up. All right, now, one thing that I really like about Book Creator is how easy it is. I've learned 3 things over the last 7 months of all these webinars I'm doing and during this pandemic. Teachers are stressed out, like to the max, right? They've had about enough of all of this. Teachers need help. So like I said, we've done about 1,000 webinars probably since March, and easy always wins. And so I love how easy Book Creator is, and it's easy enough that you really only need to worry about 2 buttons. The plus button up here to the right allows you to add content. The I button or the inspector allows you to manipulate that content. So if I click the plus button, we've got media, comics, and shapes. So I'm gonna start with some shapes and I'm gonna work our way up. Shapes are fairly self-explanatory. Click on a shape, add it to your page. You can move it around, you can resize the shape, and with some of the shapes, you can even double click inside and you can type inside that shape. Now on a surface level, it's just a shape, right? It's not overly exciting. However, there are some pretty cool things that I've seen teachers do with shapes. One, they might copy it and paste it a couple of different times, and then what we've got now is a graphic organizer or a mind map. Maybe you have some writing over here on the left and you want your kids to answer questions over here on the right. You can leave these blank and students can answer questions inside the blank shapes. Another thing that I've seen a lot of teachers ask is, or heard a lot of teachers ask is, where is there a commenting feature? Like, how do we comment on student work? And the answer is we don't have a commenting feature, but what teachers are doing right now is they're taking shapes, putting comments and feedback inside the shape, and then kind of leaving it over here off to the side. So now we've got some commenting boxes that teachers are making up. All right, so that's pretty cool. I've seen them use shapes for timelines, like I said, graphic organizers, mind maps, answering questions, lots of different things, labels, all kinds of things. Of course, you can make a house or a Mickey Mouse or whatever out of shapes if you wanted to as well. Then from here, click the inspector, and then we have options for colors. So you can just choose different colors, add a shadow, add a border. If you have text in there, you can even change the text to different fonts. You can add colors to your text, and you can drag this little slider and make the text even bigger. All right, so some pretty cool things you can do with shapes. All right, now Shannon said she's been using this quite a bit. So Shannon, I'm gonna give you a power user tip here. So hopefully this is something you haven't seen or tried before. I'm actually gonna give you 2 of them. Number 1 is, one of the things I've always wanted to do inside of Book Creator is add like a Venn diagram, right? Like I've wanted to create my own Venn diagram. And so what I would do is I'd take a shape, copy it, paste another shape, and I have a Venn diagram. Not quite, right? It's not the way I want. So I click on a shape, add a color, and now it's closer, but it looks more like a MasterCard logo, right, than it does a Venn diagram. So I basically gave up. And then I watched a webinar about a month or so ago with Monica Burns, and she had a Venn diagram, and somebody said, "Ooh, show us how to do a Venn diagram." You know, I've used Book Creator for 8 years and worked for them for almost 2, and I was like, yeah, show us how to do a Venn diagram, because I don't know. And so click the shape, hit the inspector, and then right here where it says color, I'm gonna click on color, and then I'm gonna look over here to the right, and there's one that actually says none. That color has been there for 8 years, and I've never clicked on that button. All right, watch what happens. I'm gonna click on the button. The color disappears, right? The shape disappears, which is kind of self-explanatory. But when I click the back button, turn on the border, and then choose a border color, I now have a shape that has no guts, but has that outside edge. And you can see as I drag it off the page, it's got no background. So now I just take that shape, add another shape on top, drag it over here where I need it, and now I have a Venn diagram. And I was like so excited. When I saw that, I was like, wow, this is cool. I feel embarrassed I didn't know how to do that. But now I have a Venn diagram. And then one of the other things I also saw her do, instead of putting text inside there, was clicking on media and record. And so now you can get your kids to record things inside there. My wife and I are both humans. Stop, use recording, and now I can put these recording buttons anywhere inside, anywhere inside this Venn diagram. I can resize it, move it around. And I just think this is really powerful for those students who may not be able to, physically write, or, writing holds them back. Let them record their voices and get them inside those Venn diagrams, at least get their ideas out onto the virtual paper. All right, and then the next one, Shannon, that I wanted to show you, and everybody else, I guess, for that matter, is if I click the inspector, another button that I have avoided for 8 years is this one right here to the top right. Looks like a thumbtack. All right, I'm gonna click on that pin and watch what happens. Well, because actually what normally drives me crazy is that when I click on the inspector, part of it covers up my page. So I can't see all of the work on my page, and I can't click the arrows over here on the right to go to another page. So if I click this pin, what it does is it shoves the book over to the side, but leaves the inspector tool open. So now I have full function of the book, so I can move from page to page. I can click on different elements, and watch what happens when I click on different elements. I click on the shape, the inspector changes. Click on the audio button, the inspector changes. Click on the blank paper, the inspector changes, but it's not covering up any of my stuff, right? It's just allowing me to continue doing my work. All right, so there you go. There's something that's just a little bit different. All right, cool. Next, plus button, media. The next one down is the media category, and we have import, right? So if you go to the import button, first thing we have is a Google image search. Now, what's really awesome about these Google image searches are they are labeled for commercial reuse with modification. They're all labeled as non-attribution, and they're all Google safe search images. So these are the safest images that you're going to find. All right, these are the same ones that you would find in like a Google Doc or a slideshow. If you click on an image, click select, that image now gets added right to your page. And you can click on it, you can resize it, you can move it around, and you can rotate those images. Now, a couple other things that you can do with images are pretty cool. If you click the inspector button, I can hyperlink that image to a website, or I can hyperlink it to a specific page in the book. So in this case, I'm thinking visual table of contents, choose your own adventure stories. There's a lot that you can do by hyperlinking those images. Next option underneath that is alternative text. So we really take accessibility seriously. And one of the things that we have here is this alternative text. So if I put in something like classic cars, then when somebody with visual impairment is reading our book, they'll click the play button, it will read the text, play the video, play the audio, but now it will also say image classic cars, and it's built right in. So I really, really love that feature. Plus button, media. Under import still, the next one is Google Maps. So fairly self-explanatory here with Google Maps. You put in a location, you hit the satellite or map, you can zoom in a little bit, and now I can see my house. And the reason I do that is because that's exactly what your students are going to do that very first time. They're going to find their house because they want to see what it looks like from space. But now I have my Google map. I add this in, and I can resize it. But I think this is a really good opportunity to then pull in those shapes. So if I go with my shapes, I can now grab an arrow, and now I can like annotate on top. There's John's house. None of you are math teachers, but we could do like there's a right angle, there's an obtuse angle. We can look at the different types of vegetation, the empty lots, the golf course. I mean, there's all kinds of things we can do here. Directions, so many things you can annotate over top, again, with shapes, even the pen tool, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. Also under the media and import, we do have the ability to pull in files. So from your computer, you can pull in files, or from your drive. So if I go to my computer and pull in this PDF, for example, hit open, this PDF will now get added right inside the book. I can click on it, I can move it around, and I can resize it. So now I can put a PDF in the book, and when students click on it, they'll be able to read through it, get all the information that they need. I'm a car cleaning nerd, so there's all the stuff that you use to clean your car. Click the X, and then on the page, I can write my reflections. All right, so this is a really cool feature. Not only PDFs, photos, video, audio, documents, slideshows, things like that. You can bring all of those files right inside your book. And then the same thing is actually true with media, import, and in Drive. So you can connect your Book Creator account to your Drive, and then you can pull in all those files from your Google Drive and dump those right inside the book as well. And then the last one here, which is my favorite in this category, and that's the embed feature. And so what the embed feature does is it allows me to embed content from other sources. So for example, if I go to YouTube and find a video that I want, I'm gonna click on the video and I'm gonna click pause real quick because I don't wanna watch the commercial, but I'm gonna click pause. Underneath the video, there is a share button. I click the share button and then I click this button that says embed.
What is up, fam? This message find you all.
Oh, there it was. I missed the commercial anyway. Share, embed, and then I get this code. All right, now this code means nothing to me at all, but I'm going to copy that code. I'm going to go back to my book, and I'm going to paste that code right inside that box. I confirm the link. I see the video, the link, and the title, and I say add to book. And now that YouTube video is added directly inside the book. So it's a great way for you to enhance the learning you're doing in the classroom, front load your students, quick reviews, so many options. But watch what happens when I click the play button. Oop. Nothing, because I missed it. Hang on a second here. And I hosed my page. Hang on a second. My computer's been acting silly. All right, so there's the video. Click on the play button. Here it is. Watch what happens.
What is up, fam? This message find you all well, great spirits. What do we have?
All right, the video starts automatically. No commercials at the beginning, no commercials at the end, no comments underneath, and none of that sidebar junk on the right, which is where teachers and kids get lost for days watching things they don't need to be watching. All right, so this is awesome, but it doesn't just work with YouTube. YouTube, Vimeo, Soundtrap, Desmos calculators, WeVideo, Padlet, Powtoon, Explain Everything. Basically anything that you can create elsewhere that has an embed code, you can dump right inside of the book. All right. Any questions so far? Anybody? All right. Nothing. Here we go. Moving on. Plus button. Media. The next one down is the camera. Now with the camera, fairly self-explanatory. Take a still picture by clicking take picture, or you can record a video. So it gives you a little countdown. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having a great day. All right, click that, click use, and now that video gets added right inside the book. Now what's awesome about this, again, is I don't have to go elsewhere. I can just do this right inside the book on the page. Once it blinked, right, kind of blinked there in the background, click on the video, click the inspector. You can even add captions to your video in 120 different languages. So if I speak English, I can do English captions. Speak Spanish, Spanish captions. But I choose my language from the drop down here, click generate automatically, and now that video will be captioned in about 30 seconds to a minute. You don't have to watch the bouncing dots, keep going about your day, and within, like I said, 30 seconds to a minute, a little warning message will appear at the bottom left, letting you know that those captions are ready, like they are now, and I click play. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having a great day. There we go, and now we have captions on our video. If you make a mistake, you can click the inspector, add captions, and edit them. So for example, it says, good morning, everybody. Hope you're having a good day. All right, looks good to me. I'm all set, hit done, and I'm ready to go. But if I need to change things, I can go in there and edit those. Not only is, I will say too, that this isn't just important from an accessibility standpoint, but I had, when I was in the classroom, I had teachers or parents all the time that would come to me and say stuff like, stop asking my kid to read for 20 minutes. We're too poor. We don't have any books. Stop, stop, stop. And I would say to the parents, I was like, well, do you have a TV? And they said, yes. And I said, well, turn on closed captioning. So even if you're not reading a book, at least this way, if you turn on captioning, all students can benefit because they're experiencing text while they're watching their shows or whatever. So I always like to put that option in there for students, even if they don't need it in the traditional kind of way. All right, under media, the next one is the pen tool, and the pen tool is one of my favorites. So if you click the black dot, you can choose all these different colors. Click the brush, we've got a pen, a brush, a crayon, a highlighter, but my favorite is the auto pen. And the reason I love this is because it's the great equalizer for students. A lot of times they'll give you those excuses, right? I can't draw, I'm not creative, whatever, right? Matter of fact, teachers give the same excuses. And so I'm going to show you this by drawing, because drawing on a trackpad is also rather hideous. On I'm already angry because my tires of my bicycle look like deformed donuts. And as a matter of fact, this is just a hideous bicycle altogether, right? It's ugly. But at the top of the screen, the auto draw is trying to figure out what it is. Is it a drum set? No. Is it a tractor? No. It's not a toilet either. It's a bike. I click on bike, and it fixes my drawing, and it actually makes it look like a bike. And now I can click the X. I can click my colors, go to my magic ink maybe, go to my fill bucket, and start filling this in. And now I've got this cool magical bike that I can click on, resize, move around the page, and rotate. All right, so I love this for kids. I think it's a really cool tool. All right, now another thing in that pen tool, and this might be a hidden one. So Shannon, you'll have to let me know if this impresses you or not. In the pen tool, there are emojis, and so if you click on the emojis, we've got the whole slew of emojis that you can use in here, minus all the bad ones. All right, but you've got the emojis in here. Two things I want you to think about. One, don't think about them as emojis, right? Those annoying things at the end of text messages and tweets. Think about them as design elements. So if I pick a shark emoji, I can resize that, make it real big, and now I'm using it as an element for a research report, all right, and not necessarily just that annoying thing on text messages. All right, so that's one thing that I want you to think about. The other thing I want you to think about, or notice, I guess, is when you click on the emojis. I had a teacher email me one time. She's like, John, love book creator, big problem. My kids are making books about themselves, and they're putting in emojis, and the problem is none of these emojis look like they do. And I was like, oh, it's like, how is that possible, right? Like, how is it possible we have all these emojis in one skin tone? And so I was clicking on these, trying to find ways around that. Didn't work. Went to yell at my engineering team, and they said, no, listen, click the hand at the top right, and you can choose your skin tone. And so now you pick the skin tone, and it changes all of your emojis to fit the choice that you got, that you put in there. So I was like, okay, that's cool, right? And again, and most people don't know that's there, right? It's kind of hidden in there, but it is an option, all right? So that's one. And then the other thing that I think that most people have used at this point is Bitmojis. So you can certainly download the Bitmoji extension. And if you download the Bitmoji extension in Chrome and you already have your Bitmoji account, you can click on your Bitmojis and you can drag those right into your book. And again, what's really nice about this is these Bitmojis don't have any backgrounds behind them. So I can put whatever I want in the background behind it and it will still show up perfectly. All right, so that process won't work if you use the Bitmoji app on your phone. So if you save a Bitmoji into your camera roll and then try to put in a book creator, the Bitmoji has a background. So definitely go through the extension. It's an easier way to do it. How'd you do? Good? Awesome. Okay. Keep working. Mm-hmm. So that's my 6-year-old. So, well, no, 7. She's 7. She just turned 7 yesterday. I gotta get that in my head. All right. So next thing, plus button, media. The next one down is the text option. Text, again, fairly self-explanatory. You can type some text in there. You can copy your text, paste it if you had it started in a Google Doc. You can do that if you want to. But the real power here is this microphone. And so with the microphone, if I click on it, I can choose to do speech to text in 120 different languages. So again, click the microphone. There's a drop down right here, period. Choose your language from the drop down and start speaking. Hit stop. Now I can go back in here, I can adjust, and that's it. I hit done, and now I've got my text. From here, if I hit the inspector, I can drag this little slider and change the size of my text. Left, center, right, justify, bold, italicized, underline, change the font, change the color, change the background. You can also do columns, 1, 2, 3, or 4 columns of text inside that text box. And you can even add shadows to your text if you want to. So that is the text option. All right. From there, plus button, media. Next one down is record button. We've already talked a little bit about this one. I will say that the record button, though, has another cool feature. It's kind of hidden. My name is Jon Smith. Hit stop. Use recording. I've got that text, or I'm sorry, I've got that audio button there, which is great. reading fluency, sound effects, music in the background, having kids read their own page. So you see they're writing over here, you hear their voices. So that way when I click the play button, I don't have to listen to some robot read it. I can listen to the kids actually reading their page. I've seen a lot of teachers use this for foreign languages and bilingual books, so many options here. But the one thing that you can do if you click the inspector is you can actually add a transcript to this as well. So if I have a transcript, then the audio button will be accessible to people who have hearing impairments. So I can read the text that goes along with that transcript. So again, just wait a few seconds and a new icon will appear on that audio button, and you'll be able to click and hear it or click and read what that audio button has. All right, so those are all of the features inside of the media section. Any questions before we move on to comics? Shannon, did you know about the emojis and changing the skin tones? Hopefully I didn't put her to sleep. I might have. All right, we're gonna move on. I think Shannon's taking a nap. Kelly, do you have any questions?
No, I'm all set. My students actually last week, they were the ones who figured out how to change the skin tone. So they taught me that.
I have to be honest, and sometimes this gets me in trouble, but I do a webinar for Book Creator called The Book Creator You Never Knew, and it's all of like those hidden insider tips and tricks that most people don't know about. Most of them I've learned from second graders. So yeah, I'm with you on that one, right? I get it. All right, next one, plus button, comic section. All right, in the comic section, we've got comic panels. So you choose a panel style. It adds it to your page. If you click inside the panel on the left, you can choose an image from Google, your files, or Drive. So just put in that car image again, click select, and now that image gets added right inside that comic panel. I can click these arrows and I can move it around and just get it exactly the way I want. And if I click on the right-hand side, I can choose to take an image from my computer. Click use, and now that picture gets added inside the panel as well. Now from here, I can click the plus button, add speech bubbles. Whoops, I missed. I can add thought bubbles. I can add special comment text, and I can add stickers. So we have 2 columns of stickers that we've created, and if you click on one of these blank ones, you can add your own stuff. So you're just going to click on the text button plus text, and then add text on top. And so now you've made your own really cool comic stickers. If you click this outside white edge and then click the inspector, you can choose different backgrounds behind your comic. So you can see it's really starting to come together, looking like a comic now. I've seen comics used for all kinds of things, from retellings to lab safety guides to step-by-step directions for solving problems to personal narratives. There's so many things you can use with comic books, and your kids are going to love them. If I click on a blank white page and click the inspector, same things apply. I can pull in those comic panels, or I'm sorry, those comic backgrounds. I can also choose solid colors. We have different paper styles. So we have graph paper, small graph paper that's so tiny nobody's going to use it, lined paper, college ruled, kindergarten paper, the dot game you play when you're bored at PD, the dot game you play when it's an all-day PD. It might be what Shannon was doing, I'm not sure. We've got music paper, all right? We also have different borders that you can choose from. We have different patterns, and we have different textures. So my daughter, she calls this one unicorn paper. So we've got unicorn paper, we've got marble, we've got shiplap. Just be cautious. So when you say shiplap, really enunciate it, because if not, your kids are gonna think you said a dirty word. So just be careful. Not that I know from experience, but just be careful. Maybe just avoid it altogether, I don't know, but we've got those options. And then the other thing I wanted to kind of show you here is another kind of little insider tip and trick. A lot of teachers want to know if we have the ability to crop photos, all right? And the answer to that is no. We don't have the ability to crop photos, but I have a really cool hack. So if I click the plus button, click on panels, and choose a single comic panel, just one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click in there. I can add a photo or take a photo, doesn't matter. Click that and say use. And now that picture will fill the comic panel just like we did before. So so far it's not a crop. All right, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to 2-finger click, all right, on my trackpad. If you don't have a Mac, you're going to right click on your trackpad. I'm going to, whoops, I zoomed in. That's not what I wanted to do. All right, I'm going to 2-finger click, and then I'm going to unlock this panel. And I watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to drag this over. I'm going to drag this side over. Then I'm going to click these arrows. I'm going to bring my face back in. Then I'm going to click up here at the top, and I'm going to drag this down, and then bring my face back up. And now I've just used a comic panel to make a cropped photo. All right, so that was super exciting for teachers when they found out that you could do that. Some teachers are still not impressed because there's a little black line around the outside edge. It's not a crop, it's a comic panel. So here's what you can do. Click the comic panel, hit the inspector. Right here where it says border, you're going to click border, and you're going to say no. You're going to turn it off, and now you have just a photo that looked like it was cropped. All right, so there's some fun stuff that you can do there. And I think I just saw something. Carly, can you print individual pages? So what's going to happen, Carly, and I'll show you this here in a second, is when you go to print this book out, it's going to download it as a PDF. All right, and so once it's downloaded as a PDF, you can get rid of the pages that you want and print single pages if you wanted to, but not directly from here. All right. All right, so there you go. That's the comic panels. All right, so those are all the features inside of the book. I do want to show you this pages view real quick, which is pretty cool. Gives you a bird's eye view of your book. And from here, I can click and drag and just move pages around into any order that I want them in. And then underneath your book page, there are these 3 dots. And if I click these 3 dots, there are some pretty cool features here. I can make a copy, so it just takes and makes an exact copy of the page. I can click these 3 dots and actually say copy to. So this is a newer feature, but what I do is I click on that, say copy to, and then I choose the library and the book or books or all of the books that I want that copy to go into. I hit copy page, and then what it does is it's going to take this page up here and take a copy of it and put it at the back end of every book that you want to put it into. So this is a really good option for like templates. All right, so if you make a book for your students that you want them to answer questions in, and let's say it's 5 pages long on Monday. They go through the work all week. At the end of the week, you want to add 5 more pages, all right, new lab manuals or new reflection pages or whatever. You can click on that and you can put it into their book. If you hit select, I can choose multiple pages and say copy multiple pages to libraries and books and hit copy. And again, those 5 pages or so that I copied will all be put at the end, right? So there's some really cool options for copying pages. So you definitely want to check that out. You can also select and delete multiple pages if you like. All right, hit done. We're going to back out. We're going to go outside of the book. And then from here, inside the library, there's a couple of cool things you can do. Click on this book icon underneath a book. You can import a book from somewhere else, move your book from one library to the next. Copy books. This is how your students are going to copy books. So when they join your library, they're going to see the Thanksgiving template, or they're going to see your science lab manual or whatever. They're going to click the book icon. They're going to click copy, and they're going to put it into your library. And when they do that, it makes an exact copy that that student can edit, but it doesn't mess up your original, and no other students can edit that copy, just the student who made the copy. You can also combine books. So if collaboration is still a little frightening to you, that's okay. What you can do is have everybody make their own book inside your library, hit combine books, choose the books you want in the order you want, hit next, and then it will take all of those books and it will pull them together into one neat book. And then you can delete all the others if you want, or you can keep them there separately, but it's a great way to combine all the books and share them out. And then there's also a share button. So if you click share, you can publish your book online. Click once, check the title, check the author, click publish again, and that book is now online and viewable by anybody who has this link. You do not have to publish if you don't want to, But for me, that was really powerful because when I told my students they were going to take their work and publish it online, engagement went up, content went up, writing quality went up, everything was just amazing. So I love this. It's a great, easy way to share with parents too, because once this link is here, anybody that has the link is able to view your book. It's not searchable on Google though, so keep that in mind. So when it comes to privacy and things like that, you're not going to just randomly find this book. You need to have the link. Shannon, did you have a question?
I did. I feel like I should know it, but I don't. Way back to the beginning where you were talking about being able to use that Thanksgiving book.
Yes.
Talking about putting it into your library. I'm not seeing how I do that.
So if you go back to the Discover tab,
Yep.
click on the book, and then it's on the second page. Let's see here. If I go to the second page, there's a little button that says "Add this book to your library."
Ah, okay, got it.
And if you click on that, it's going to ask you like which library you want to copy it to.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna, and then you can choose which library, and it will add it there.
So that's something that's unique just to that book. It's not that there's things in Discover that we can then put into our library.
Correct. We have 3 books that you can do that with: the Thanksgiving book, the Big Book Creator Activity book, which is the one right next to it, and then we also have. I don't think it's in the library, but if you go to our blog and look up yearbook, we also have a yearbook example that you can copy and put into one of your libraries and then remix it.
Gotcha. Thanks.
And then again, if you have students, this is what they would do. They would come to your library, they see the Thanksgiving book, you hit the book button, they would click copy book, and they would choose to put it into your library, and that way the students can then remix that copy. All right, next under the share button, collaboration we talked about. Carly, here's where you're gonna download your book. There's 2 options. You can download it as an ebook, not overly helpful. Because it comes down as an EPUB and you can view those in Apple Books or Book Creator, that's about it. But then the next one down is the print button. So you click print, download this as a PDF, and then you can choose which pages you want to print from there. And then the last thing up here is the setting icon. You can change the name of your library, and you can actually turn on and off all of these features. So if you don't want your kids using Google Images, turn them off. Students editing their books, so if like a deadline is on Friday, on Saturday morning, you can click this button and students won't be able to go edit their work after the deadline. You can turn on or off the ability for students to read each other's books. So some teachers are cool with that because they're like, yep, I'm gonna let John read the books because then maybe that'll inspire him to do something better. And some teachers are like, nah, because that means they're gonna cheat, right? So it's totally up to you. And then the last one are usually reserved for more the older students, but you can also give them the ability to turn on collaboration and publish your books without your help. So totally up to you. You can archive your library if you don't want it anymore, and you can also publish your entire library. So if you don't want to publish 35 individual books, you can publish 1 library, get 1 link, and send that out, and then whoever opens that link is able to view any of the books that are inside that library. All right? Well, that's it in terms of what's in Book Creator. Any other questions, thoughts, things that are going through your head right now? Kelly?
Oh, no, I don't have a question. Honestly, I think you covered everything.
Okay, excellent. Carly, any questions? All right.
Nope, I'm muted. No.
Okay, great. Richard, any questions?
No, it was excellent. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, excellent. I appreciate you guys being here for this today. And if you have any questions afterwards, feel free to reach out to me any point. I'm always happy to talk about this stuff. And if you need lesson ideas or whatever, reach out to me as well. And thanks for having me. Be safe out there. Happy bookmaking and enjoy your Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to you too.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thanks, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
Bye-bye.